Mema.
And we're going to be talking a lot about RPA today, robotic process automation. Umema has been with us for almost 2 years now, and she is our main RPA developer here. She's the lead RPA developer. She's done quite a few bots, and we're going to be showing you about half a dozen different bots here that we've worked on in the office to kind of give you an idea of the different kinds of things that RPA can do. But before we do that, wanted to bring up some news. How's processors sound?
They sound like they process things.
Yeah. So we've got some new Intel news has come out this week, right? Between leaks and public announcements, there is news with the Alder Lake, the Raptor Lake, and the Meteor different series processors. Basically, the Core i9, right? That kind of processor. We've seen the new generation of that come out. I want to say 13th generation, maybe even later than that.
I think it's 13th.
Yeah, and so it's hitting clock speeds of like 7 gigahertz, which is just crazy. I remember, because I'm ancient, when processors.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
I remember when processors were measured in megahertz instead of gigahertz. But that's just some amazing clock speeds that they're getting out of those, which is really cool.
I mean, I'd like to see a side-by-side comparison. You remember we're just watching the old PCs start up, boot up.
Yes.
It's like waiting 5 to 10 minutes for it to just start up was the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And now my PC takes a minute, and that's too long. It
does. I know that's one thing that I love about solid state drives is how much faster they make the boot time. That booting and stuff like that can be handled by the main processor, but building on the Alder Lake architecture, some of the news about the Raptor Lake processors that come out, and they are continuing to pair large processing cores and small processing cores. They're E-cores that they like to call them. And basically you have your main processing cores that handle all your they can handle graphic displays, they can handle all your heavy lifting. And they have these smaller cores for things that are using more low power, but need more cores to process things. And then we've got any background tasks, operating system tasks, all that stuff can be handled by the smaller cores. And so they're talking about having 24 core processors in consumer laptops and desktops.
Yeah, because I think even ours run 12?
We do have some. We do have some 12-core computers here. Most of our desktops are running quad-core with hyper-threading. That's how most of them work. But it's going to be pretty cool to see, double-digit core machines becoming the norm.
I just want to see how fast they would run.
Yeah. Well, and one big thing is that the more processing power a computer has, programs will take up more of that power because it's available to them. Mm-hmm. So what they found over time is that all these advancements really only have an impact up front to speed, and then once software and whatnot catches up to the power that's now available to it, it reaches its normal state of what's acceptable again. And doesn't seem lightning fast because it's using so many more resources, and usually because programs are doing more things.
Well, it's like websites have become very, very heavy. Mm-hmm. So one would expect that if you have faster internet, your websites would load faster. Mm-hmm. But with all of these new graphics that I've seen, a lot of these websites put updates on, like my apartment website. It used to boot up. It used to load within a few seconds. Mm-hmm. And then they added some extra graphics and videos. And now I sit there and I wait. And I've got good internet, but the website's too heavy.
And you only wait because you have to. A lot of studies show that after 2 seconds, people will leave a page. That's the average time that people are waiting.
Yeah, I have to pay my rent.
People are on average willing to wait 2 seconds.
I have to wait.
and then we have the Meteor processors that are coming out. Meteor, like what killed the dinosaurs. And
Too soon. Too soon.
Sorry, spoiler alert. It's and those kind of have a modular design to them, where you can have different kinds of chips in the processor, different kind of nodes on the processor, and they kind of have them separated, and they can just add banks of processor of cores to them and whatnot. A bit modular. I think they're calling it disaggregated. And it's really cool that you can just have a core architecture, a core processing thing, and then you just add the different functions that you need to it. So you could have one core that's more GPU focused, one core that's more CPU focused, but they're all the same building blocks, just being arranged differently. I think that's really cool.
Kind of like, wasn't there a phone that someone had premiered where you could just swap things out to whatever functionality you wanted?
Yes, I forgot about that. Now that you said that, there was. I forget. I think it was at a CES that I saw that, a Consumer Electronics Show, and they had the different nodes that you can get. Like you could get a camera, you could upgrade the camera, you could put multiple cameras on it. You could have the speaker, and you had these different squares that you plugged into it, and you could get blank ones that you programmed to do your own thing. And you could add, finer GPS. Yeah. So that modular design, I mean, it's a really cool idea. That phone didn't survive though.
And I don't know why, because it was specifically catered for everyone.
Yeah.
You could make it whatever you needed it to be. Like, obviously for people who aren't as photo focused on their phones, you didn't get the camera.
Yeah.
You didn't get all of the upgrades or the nodes for extra cameras or videography, or if you were someone that did podcasts, you wanted the better speaker to attach to it. You wanted the better mics that could attach to it, or maybe some sound balancing. I think they had some sound mixing or sound balancing functionalities as well. And I was just like, that's cool. It could be anything for anybody.
It is really cool. I think most people don't want that complexity. So like while Intel's talking about all these different architectures, they're going to have, just like they have now with different series of processors, I think they'll continue to have different series of processors. And that way people who want to tinker can, and those who just want something that works off the shelf, they'll have that option available for them. And I think with phones, most people just want something off the shelf.
I don't. I want to customize my phone.
You're a technical person, so it's all good. All right, well, let's get into the RPA. So we're going to be looking at some bots here, and these are designed to do jobs or parts of jobs for people. We'll talk about each video in specific, but they're just here to help, right? Some people will call the bots digital workers instead of bots. Because they just sit on a computer. It does use computer resources to run. So it either runs on your machine while you don't use it, or you get a computer and run them. And it basically clicks and everything just like a human would. And so let's take a look here. And we're going to look at this Excel copy bot to start with. Get it pulled up. I've got to share the screen. Not quite so big. It is not wanting me to share the window. Okay, here we go. Share. So we've got this video here where it is going to just run a bot. This is an Excel copy bot. So it is, what's it called? Opening up Excel spreadsheet. We're showing off some, you made this. I should let you explain it.
So this is the blank sheet that all the information has to go into. You'll notice that it's completely blank. It's going to go into the check masters and the check details. It's all blank. going to show you left to right. And then you'll see all of these other spreadsheets that this is the main spreadsheet that has the data. There's 1, 2, and then it'll even go through and apply formulas to get certain specific formatted data.
So it's working in Excel just like a person would.
Yeah. Yeah, you
It's
just don't have to go through and enter the formula every time or do the tedious work of copy, paste, and just going back and forth.
So
You don't have to do it.
You'd have to tell this bot to either type out the formula or to use a template that contained that formula.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
So just to make things easier, even for the bot, instead of having it type it out, I just had him set up in a template where it can copy and paste and apply the formula and then grab the data after all the formulas have been applied and move it into the spreadsheet in the formatting that we need.
Okay. Sounds good. So we've got our templates here.
Correct.
And they're filled in.
Oh, they'll change because they have to be unique identifiers.
Okay.
And the formula will create a unique, I believe it's 10 characters with a mandatory underscore to start with.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So here's the bot. This is the script for the bot. And we are agnostic here as far as which platform we're open to using. These are all using OpenBots, who is one of our partners. We like OpenBots. It's a good zero bot licensing platform, so you're not paying per bot that you create.
So here you'll see it copy pasting and grabbing the rest of the data.
Okay, so we can see it running there down the bottom right. It tells us what it's executing out of all that code that we saw. We can see it opening things. So this is the bot opening and closing Excel.
Correct. And I really have it set up to where you can see it opening and closing each workbook, each spreadsheet. But realistically, you don't even have to have it do that.
Yeah,
it
so
can do everything in the background.
It could move faster and do everything in the background. Okay, that's awesome. So that completed. Took 49 seconds for the bot itself to run based on that success window. And now we have 2 spreadsheets that are filled out and have had the data added to it that need to be added to it with the formulas. And they relate to each other properly. And so if I remember correctly, this is something that when we had a human do it, took about 30 minutes.
Correct.
And so it just went from a 30-minute job to a less than 1-minute job for this. And so if you were going from, template to template every time, and it's something that you do on a regular basis, you get a very fast return on investment.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got that. Is there anything else fancy? Okay. All right. Let's close out of that, and we'll switch back to us here. So that's cool. Let's build on that with another bot. Now these, we're going to show 2 videos here. One is the bot running, and then one is the results.
Correct.
Right? And so these are going into a CRM, or customer relations management system. Let's get that open. All right, so what's it doing?
So we had a little subscription for Zoho CRM, and it was able to log in, and it's going to navigate to accounts, and it's literally how even a person would just drag and drop a file for it to upload. It's going to find the file that you need for accounts and it'll upload it.
Okay.
So it'll do it for accounts and it will do it for contacts.
So this system, Zoho, just like HubSpot or Sugar or any of the big CRMs out there, I think actually Sugar's, that'll tell you how old I am in the marketing world. But they have import templates where you can import Excel spreadsheets, right? Maybe you went to a conference and you got a list of contacts that came to your booth or whatever it may be. And you need to import all these people. But that can take some time. This is something that you could set up to run on a regular basis to import that template. So the bot doesn't have to be used to copy and paste stuff. It can just automate even the simple tasks that you might think, oh, well, that task doesn't take me very long. And let me load up the second video to see the results of it. That task doesn't take me very long. But the fact that you don't need one more thing to do during your day. Here's the second part, so you can see the after effects of import, where the data's in there.
Yep, and it'll go through, it'll update whatever needs to be updated. It can update your contact list, your accounts, anything that's closed.
Okay, so yeah, it's just doing tasks like a human would.
Yep.
All right. Let's see here. I'm going to try going right to the next video. Now, we talked about how, okay, it can copy and paste from Excel to Excel. It can upload a file to a website. Let's have it type or copy and paste into a website. Oh, wait, no, not a website yet. Let's go with an application. So, yeah, this one's a desktop application called Nucash or GNU Cache. Which people may be familiar with that acronym if they're in the Linux world. And this is running on a Windows machine, right? So what are we looking at?
So here we have some invoices. It's your regular invoice information, your total amounts, what the receipt or invoice is for. We've got a few just shown as examples. And there's your total amount.
Okay, so this one's even just from an email, right?
Correct.
So just a printed out email. And
here you have your Excel spreadsheet.
So it gets extracted out to Excel. All right.
So you've got no, it's fine. So you've got the dates, you've got the identifying number, invoice number, and then you have the total amounts. And we're going to show you what Nucash looks like right now. It's just going to be blank.
Okay, so this is just for sake of the testing and making the bot and the video and everything. It's a blank accounting database.
Correct.
All right, so now we're going to do some accounting functions of inputting these invoices.
Right.
Something that somebody might be doing all day, every day at a big company.
Oh, God. And you see it's blank. Doesn't have anything in the checking account.
Okay.
And then we're going to close out of there. Just to show that we're not doing anything behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Here's your bot script. And these are all of the commands that it's running. Its entire job. And then we're gonna hit run.
All right, so this one's going to run. So we're not going to see the debug window while this one's running, but we will see all the work that's being done.
Correct.
Now, we're seeing these, when we're doing these bots, we have them broken out step by step, right? So that people can see how this, if it were running in a production environment, it'd be more cohesive and can go straight from basically PDF to invoice inserted in the system, and a human's not needed in between points A and B or A and Z or whatever letter it is.
Correct. There's scheduler functionality, so you can just schedule them to run at a certain time.
Okay.
So these could actually even run either before you get into work or after you leave or over the weekend.
Okay. They could also be triggered by events, right? Like when it gets emailed in, it reads it.
Yes.
And it takes it live if you had it on a dedicated system.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. You can definitely set up, what is it called? Watchers. You can dedicate watchers to see if an email with a certain subject line or a certain text comes in, or some keywords that it's looking for, and it'll automatically start its loop.
Okay, very cool. So now the bot is doing some stuff. We've got a couple lines in there, and it is it's typing. We saw it type Honda in there.
Yeah.
We saw it pick from a drop down. It's clicking the buttons to enter a new record. It's saving what it's working on. So typing the date, typing the invoice number out. And we can also see in the bottom left-hand corner of the window what's being typed, as well as on that yellow line. All right, we've got all that, and then puts in the dollar amount, and then basically it tabs out, and the accounting job does its function of keeping a running balance.
Correct.
Of the dummy data that we put in there.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got 2 invoices in there so far, and so this just goes over and over, doing the job. Now, the bot's not having to be restarted for every single invoice, is it?
No, it's set up in loop. So until it runs through all of the invoices that are in this folder. So the way this one is set up is that it reads all of the invoices that are in the folder, and the data gets extracted to Excel. So for each Excel row that has this data in it, it's registered, okay, there's 12 rows.
Okay.
So I need to run this 12 times. There's 12 lines of data that need to be input in here.
Okay. So it knows when to stop,
Yes,
and you don't have to sit there and watch it.
Yeah.
You can, and it's fun, but
I enjoy
it's defeating the purpose if that's what you do all day, right?
But it's still faster. Even if you
true.
watch it, it's still faster than when you would have been doing it.
That is true. Because now we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 invoices that have been put in.
Because if you look at the invoice number for Amazon.com, the chances of me putting the wrong numbers in,
I mean, it's a long number.
are highly likely. Unless, of course, I was copy and pasting. But if I had to sit there and type in every single digit, I can almost guarantee I would have at least one digit in the wrong spot.
I mean, for me, especially if I'm just typing in series of non-sequential numbers all day that I don't have context for, I could very easily see an error being introduced by a human there. Whereas the bot's just going to do what it's told. So it has to be told the wrong thing. There has to be a bad invoice number on the invoice for it to have the wrong invoice number.
Correct.
Yeah.
And which is why a lot of times we'll have someone double check the data that gets extracted from the invoices into the spreadsheet, because the spreadsheet is what holds the main data that the bot's going to be using.
Yeah, so when it gets extracted, it could even be put in, if somebody wanted, it could be put into the invoice system. At most companies, the invoices have to then be approved by somebody before they go out. And so it then becomes the accountant's job to just approve the invoices. And it's a whole lot quicker to double check, is this information correct, than it is to copy and paste or type it all out yourself. And not that there's less thought involved, but it's a different kind of thought that's a higher level, more creative, and something that a human really needs to do.
Correct.
You could, in theory, create a bot to do some double checking by comparing what's in the system. And actually, we have looked at that with a different, unrelated to this project, to have a bot compare the original document to the final product and skip the middle, which the first bot did, kind of as a safety measure before it even gets to a human there.
Correct.
Okay, so it's done. I just want to look at the time here. So what'd that take?
Total execution time.
There we go. 5 minutes, 23 seconds. And look at that. You anticipated I'd be having trouble finding that. So less than 5.5 minutes for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 invoices. Good stuff. So less than 30 seconds an invoice for typing it in. A human might be able to do that for a while. I don't think they could do it all day, every day. That'd be pretty fast. But that's really cool. Okay, so
I'm glad you think so.
So we've seen entry into a web system. We've seen entry into a desktop system. We've seen copying and pasting and typing. We've seen uploading. Let's kind of go the other direction. Let's see some downloading. So this one, what's this one about?
So here I have it set up to where it can pull the date from your computer, and there's this there's a website, NDIC. They upload daily reports of drilling. Well, it's a lot of well data.
Okay, so here I'm gonna pause this before it actually gets started with the bot here. We'll pause it on this fancy screen showing the script. So the North Dakota Industrial Commission is the governing body for North Dakota for oil and gas regulatory stuff, just like we have the Texas Railroad Commission, Oklahoma Corporate Commission, those kinds of things. And they have a report that gets posted every day.
Every day.
And a lot of times at oil companies that are working in those states, if they're doing any active drilling, they want to see those reports. So it just might be somebody's job to just go download that report.
Yeah.
Okay. Good deal.
So it'll pull your previous date because it's uploaded on the website the day after.
Okay.
So since today is Wednesday, they'll have Tuesdays. And so it navigates to the website. It clicks on the date's PDF, opens up the PDF, clicks download, renames it to daily report. Sorry, it saves it as daily report. And then you can see that the NDIC folder is blank. And then it saves it. It moves the file daily report into the NDIC folder, and it sets the correct date for it.
Okay, names it with the date. So that way, when the bot runs, and this is like you're talking about, you could schedule this to run. If you know, well, they upload these things at sometime between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. You could run it. You could set it to run at 6:30 a.m. every day. That way, it's always for sure there. And it'll just check, and it'll just go download whatever's there. And then if there is one, great. What happens if there's not one? What happens if it's, if you have this scheduled to run every day at 6:30, let's assume it runs on Saturday at 6:30, downloads Fridays. What happens on Monday and Sunday?
It just doesn't run.
Okay, so
it'll exit the loop. So there's you can set up some if then functionality where if there isn't one, like Sunday, nothing is uploaded on Saturday or Sunday. If it doesn't find anything, just ends. Okay, nothing here.
So, and whether it's UiPath, they have an orchestrator, Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere, those are the three big ones. Microsoft, we're also Microsoft partners. They have the Power Automate, part of their Power Suite. But OpenBots, like we're using here, OpenBots has, what's their orchestrator called?
Cloud.
Okay, OpenBots Cloud. And so basically with this cloud server, they're able to, or you are able to schedule, and that's where you do all that orchestration. Is inside that. All right. And like I said, we like to look for tools that just plug for Intellis. At Intellis, we like to look for tools that meet the client's needs. Yes, absolutely shameless. Thanks for watching. Because really, if a tool isn't the best tool for the job, do you want to use it? Well, getting something done is better than not getting something done, but getting something done the best way is way better than just, shoving it through for the sake of getting it done.
I mean, it's like you can sit there with a nail and the back of a screwdriver and just nail it into the wall. But I think you'd get better results with a hammer. Yes.
And so, we're showing these videos and they all use OpenBots, and we like OpenBots. That is the one that we use the most here. And for a lot of it is cost reason, because we found that it delivers the quickest return on investment to our customers, and has a really good startup time.
Yeah.
We're not going to be showing it here today because we made it for a customer, but there was a invoice data entry bot that we built for a different online accounting program. We won't use the name. How long did it take to make that bot that entered an invoice into their system the way that they wanted it?
It took me 2 working days.
All right. So in 2 days, you now have a bot that can do data entry of invoice information into the online accounting system. I mean, that's a pretty quick startup time, and that makes, even if the invoice only takes 1 minute to enter every time, if it's something that's happening on a daily basis, multiple times a day,
Correct.
very quick return on investment there. And with stuff like OpenBots, you're not paying per bot like some of the other ones license. So I think that's cool.
That one in particular, it's not even taking anything into an Excel spreadsheet or anything. It's simply looking at a folder, seeing the invoices in said folder, extracting the data directly from the PDF, and putting it into the website. And then it's also attaching a copy of that PDF.
Nice.
And submitting it.
So you don't have to use a middleman like Excel or a middle layer there inside of Excel. You can go using, I think it's OpenBots documents, or some of the other IDP functions. You can go straight from. That
one actually uses you don't even have to have OpenBots documents for that.
Oh, for that one. Okay, it's simple enough where you don't even have to have that level.
There's some pre-made commands, pre-installed commands, and it is PDF text. It will read PDF text.
I like it. So as long as it's OCR, you're good to go. Yep. All right. So I know we're at 11:30 here. A couple minutes passed, but we got one more bot that we want to show you. Thanks for hanging in so far. This one, I think this one is I'm going to say the coolest out of this bunch, just because of my personal affinity for computerized mapping. I spent several years in the GIS space, and this one is GIS specific. So give me 1 second to get it loaded up. Just gotta check one thing real quick. All right. And then just while I get this going, do you want to kind of set the stage for us on what exactly this bot is going to do?
So the GIS bot is going to navigate to a specific website where, again, they post daily updates on well data, and it'll actually, so here we're going to look at this map.
All right, so here, I'm going to pause it because I just love this. So whether you're using Esri or QGIS, or I think this is the ThinkGeo Map Suite program in partnership with Lampro Wolfpack over there. And I have a note here on where we should be looking. I think you're circling it with the mouse cursor there. But section 26 of Township 8 North, 67 West, just north of the Black Hollow Reservoir. This is out in Weld County, Colorado. Okay, good deal. So we have our map. That's what we're looking at right now. And you said it's going to go download some layers?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're going to close out of here. So I'm just going to save whatever we see.
Okay.
It's going to navigate. You'll see the bot script. Now, this one is also a little different because it's actually running Python scripts.
Okay. So that's a really good point. These bots don't have to use only native commands or only custom commands that you program on the fly. You can call other scripts from Python or C#, other libraries that are available out there to interact. So this one's running a little bit different than the other ones that we saw. Great point.
And as it's executing, you'll see it's going to open up GIS. It's gone to the website. It's downloaded everything.
So instead of opening up each individual web page, what the Python scripts did is it went directly to the link and crawled that page and pulled the latest and greatest shapefile or whatever it is from that page without having to open the browser.
Yep, and which in turn kind of makes the bot run even faster. The tasks get done even faster whenever it works in the background, like I had mentioned previously. And then you see it's opened up GIS. It's going to select the project, and it's going to take you there.
Okay. And so back when I was doing more GIS analyst work, this is something I'd have to do on a regular basis. Oh, look, and now we've got a green dot. I was pointing at the screen. No one can see that from the camera. We've got a green dot, which based on our legend on the left, that is a permit. There's a new well permit that had been filed with the state of Colorado that was not there last time we loaded it, and now it is there. Everything else looks the same to me. I wasn't paying attention anywhere else. And in less than a minute, I see an execution time of 57.5 seconds there. It has updated my map. It has let it render. The bot's done. So even if the map had to render more, like if I've worked on maps that have close to 100 layers. I don't think I've worked on anything with over 100 in particular, but close to 100 layers, they could take a while to render.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And so I could think of one time in particular, I spent about a year working with an oil and gas company that was doing some midstream stuff. And a big part of the day was they would give me a report at the end of the day of everything that their right-of-way agents had secured. Okay. I then had to go to my shapefiles, mark each of those as, okay, this has been done, this one's in progress, this one has not been done. And just update the status of everything, and then generate a new map for them, and then deliver that out back to them so that they could hand that out to their right-of-way agents so that they knew what they were working on. Okay, who have we not addressed yet? Who's in progress? Who can we take off the board? Because they have a whole team of people, and this was part of their communication tools. And it took, this is ArcMap. I think it was at ArcMap 9.1, maybe 9.0 at that time. So ArcMap 9, not the newest stuff. Just went down memory lane there. And it would take at least 30 minutes a day to do a process very similar to this. I download the spreadsheet, I do the join, it has to recolor with the symbology. There were a lot of other moving parts in that map, and it took about half an hour, or at least half an hour. And so having something like this could have saved me a bunch of time and them a bunch of money. And I just think stuff like this is a really cool implementation for RPA. So,
absolutely. And the fact that the entire bot has run in less than a minute, it would probably take a person at least a minute to navigate to the link.
And one thing that's cool using the Python scripts is basically the downloads could work asynchronously. So because it starts one download and immediately moves to the next step, it's not waiting for the download to finish. So if you were downloading some large files or having to upload files even, it could be working on one and then move on to the next download before the first one finishes. Helping everything run faster and smoother. And what I would love, just thinking back to, jeepers, 10 years ago or however long ago it was, I would love to see, or maybe 8 years ago, but no, probably close time. Anyway, sorry. What I'd love to see is it then go create a map for me, which we can do. We've seen it push buttons. We've seen it save files. We've seen it name things. It can now go, if I had my, print template out there, it could switch over to the print functions. It could print the map, and then it could attach that map to an email. And before I even get into the office in the morning, it has downloaded all the updated files. It has created a PDF for me, saved it to the server, and then emailed everybody on the team, hey guys, updated map, here you go. And it's done, and I didn't actually have to do anything. And it's not that I'm trying to not work. It's that that's not the best use of my talent and my time. And it also helps because whether I'm there or not, people need that data. I think that's something that the automation really brings a value to is if somebody's not present, the job still gets done so that other people can now do their jobs.
Yeah, like you can just take, for example, this whole, COVID lockdown situation. And even if it's not lockdown, people get sick.
Mhm.
It happens. People take leave.
Yep.
People leave for vacation, but the map still needs to be updated every day. Now,
Mhm.
someone who's not familiar with doing the tasks that you are every single day, now they have to be taught
Mhm.
on how to do it. Okay, what website do I need to go to? Okay, well, there's like 15 links
Mhm.
or 15 drop downs in here. Which one do I download from?
Mhm.
I don't know. And then a lot of times another person doesn't know. You can ask, but the person who does it every day probably knows best which one.
Oh, definitely.
But they're on vacation. You've called them like 6 times, but they're in Cabo, and they're not going to answer their phone. They're not working.
Yeah.
And so now, what do? Everyone still needs their map.
Yeah.
And now they're mad at you for not
setting up a contingency plan. Yeah.
Yep.
So
now everyone's work still gets done. You're not necessarily there, but it's all good.
Yeah,
because everyone still gets what they need.
I think that's really cool. So there's both tangible benefits in the saving time.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's kind of the intangible benefit of the job getting done before I even sit down at my desk. And there's a very clear return on investment for a lot of these. And then also just the happiness that people might, have with not having to type things all the time. So there's some employee benefit there.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, cool. Well,
as much as I like typing, I'd rather not.
Yeah, I just don't like typing the same thing over and over. That's why programmers invented copy and paste. It's not lazy; it's efficient. So I appreciate hanging out or doing this with me, Amema. I appreciate everybody watching and hanging out for an extra 15 minutes with us. If you watched live, a special thank you, and if you're watching later, please like it, share. We'll see you again next Wednesday for Man vs. Tech. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Amema.
All right. Well, everybody, have a good one.